Hello everyone, today we will be recapping 2009 movie, Moon. Let's get to it. The movie starts with a video ad from Lunar Industries. It explains how solar energy trapped in moon rock, known as helium-3, fixed the energy crisis on Earth. It also says sleazy, corpo catchphrases like, energy is not a bad word anymore and Lunar Industries will make the world better. With these first 2 minutes, the movie presents us with the villain, the giant corporation, who provides 75% of energy for Earth by mining helium-3 on the moon, and the heroes, their sole human employee, Sam, and his robot companion, Gertie. Sam is near the end of a 3-year contract, 2 more weeks working on the far side of the moon and he can go home to his wife and daughter. This is where the movie starts to kick in. So far, cinematography of the moon mining base is beautiful, music is atmospheric and memorable. The story premise is simple but it starts to unravel and develop after the normal working day. Sam mentions that because of loneliness he started to talk to himself regularly. Gertie looks after Sam, giving him haircut and trimming his beard. Sam receives message from his wife Tess and small daughter Eve, sending their love. He really misses them and cannot wait until he will see them again. He waters his plants and watches movie while making small city model, but before going to bed, Sam starts hallucinating about a strange woman sitting in his chair. He burns his hand with hot water while staring at this apparition and later tries to lie about it to Gertie, but Brobot mentions the possibility that Sam just imagined something, which he shrugs off. That night Sam dreams about Booby touching his wife and wakes up sweaty. It's apparent how his health begins to rapidly decline when he starts to cough while running on the treadmill. He also mentions that his stomach is not right while eating breakfast. He doesn't forget to thank Gertie for being very attentive though. After some time Sam has another hallucinating episode. While working on computer he sees very different himself in recording software, with huge hair and beard. It freaks him out but does not mention it and continues to work like nothing happened. One mining rover is offline so he has to go out and check it. He puts on his suit and goes outside to find a problematic rover. I must say this following scenes are phenomenal. As he nears the vehicle, movie soundtrack starts to creep in and intensify. In the moon dust and flying rocks he hallucinates strange lady again. Sam can't keep his eyes off her, so he crashes into a giant mining rover. He is injured but alive. The hermetic seal is broken so air starts to sip out. He quickly puts his helmet to not suffocate and passes out. Sam wakes up in infirmary. Gertie explains that he had an accident but Sam has no memory of what happened. Gertie explains that he suffered minor head injury and memory loss but everything will be fine, so he falls asleep out of exhaustion. When he wakes up again he finds it hard to walk, but slowly wobbles into main room, where he overhears Gertie talking to Lunar Industries management. It is live feed, which is strange because mining base had no live feed due to malfunction. He asks about it but Brobot lies to him. Sam recovers in infirmary for some time, but there is something different about him. He is more easily agitated, he even walks and speaks different. When fully recovered Sam finds out that doors are locked. After learning about one rover being stalled he gets suspicious and asks Gertie to open the doors, so he can go there and fix it, but Brobot declines, saying that management knows about issue and help is on its way, so he was ordered to not let Sam go outside. That night while sleeping, Sam dreams about his injured self trying to get his help. Next day Sam receives a message from the management team urging him to stay put and wait for cavalry. This new, tough Sam does not appreciate being handled like a child and lied to, so he takes action in his hands and stages incident with Pipeline to persuade Gertie to let him outside. After his charismatic act Gertie agrees and unlocks the doors. Tough Sam travels to crashed rover and finds his unconscious doppelganger inside. He brings doppelganger back to base and furiously asks Gertie about his identity. Brobot does not give him definitive answer, saying that he is Sam Bell. Old Sam wakes up at infirmary while Tough Sam is watching him. Old Sam does not believe his eyes and thinks it's his hallucinations again, so he asks Gertie if somebody is in room. Brobot urges him to rest. Tough Sam watches message sent by his wife. This time it's different. They are in rocky relationship and she thinks it was good thing they separated. Movie tries to show that Tough Sam is in early steps of his relationship. He doesn't even know yet that he has a daughter. When old Sam wakes up again, he has trouble believing that there is another Sam in base, so he breaks down. But still tries to communicate with Tough Sam. Their first conversation was pretty awkward and Tough Sam mentioning that they are clones was cherry on top for old Sam, who leaves the room frustrated. These clone brothers have it tough to talk to each other when old Sam offers to play ping pong. He destroys Tough Sam in-game, and later when ice was broken between them, clones realize they are one and same person. Although Tough Sam did not know he had a daughter Eve. At that moment they receive another message from Lunar Industries management. Rescue unit is on its way to repair broken rover. Old Sam is happy, he thinks he is going back home, but Tough Sam is more realistic. He feels that this story won't end with sunshine and rainbows. This is extremely frustrating for old Sam, who believes he is original Sam Bell, so he asks Gertie about it. Sadly, Brobot does not give them a real answer. Tough Sam is interested about other clones. How did he got here so quickly after the crash? He thinks they are not first ones to wake up, but old Sam does not believe in that theory. He asks about motive, to which gets answer that they are dealing with the giant corporation and its investors. It is cheaper to have spare parts nearby than to train and hire personnel every 3 years. Tough Sam is sure that there must be a hidden room or compartment where all other clones are hidden. So he starts searching while old Sam jokes about him finding buried treasure. Tough Sam cannot find hidden room, so he asks his clone brother to move the model. He declines. They get into a fight, and what seems a small punch bleeds hell out of old Sam. Worst part is that there is no hidden room under the model. Later, when bleeding stops and old Sam cleans himself, he goes to Gertie and opens his heart to it. He tells how Tess left for 6 months and now he understands her, because he is scared of Tough Sam too. That guy tends to fly off the handle. Old Sam asks Gertie one more time if he is a clone and receives a real answer. They really are clones. Tess and life they had is implanted memories from original Sam Bell. They wake up in infirmary not because of crash and slight memory loss, but because of standard procedure for newly awakened clones to check their genetic abnormalities or any other defects. This destroys old Sam, and Gertie tries to cheer him up without any success. Ultimately, newly awakened brother apologizes for his actions and tries to talk to now sad Sam, but he does not want to hear it, so Tough Sam breaks his music player. It works, so he starts to relay his ideas. When Tough Sam woke up, doors were closed. Lunar Industries did not want taught Sam to find old injured Sam. Corporation also lied about mining base not having live feed due to satellite malfunction. He thinks jammers must be placed outside of base, so they go out to look for them, and they do, but old Sam's stomach starts to hurt again and he pukes blood, so he goes back to base while Tough Sam continues to search and write down locations of more jammers. Old Sam is very weak and pukes more. He finds out that his teeth are falling off. He goes to computers and tries to guess password for saved database, obviously without success. Gertie steps in, silently dials password on keyboard and helps him to access recorded logs of past clones. In there, Sam finds out how other clones were falling ill and breaking down at the end of their 3-year contract, and transport vehicle is actually a furnace to cremate expired clones. He goes down to that very room and discovers hidden compartment. When Tough Sam returns, they both go down the ladder to uncover basement full of food and unused, healthy clones. Old Sam goes up, grabs his communications device and leaves the base. After he goes over jamming distance, he tries to call to his home. Young woman answers the call. She looks exactly like apparition Sam was hallucinating in the beginning of the movie. She informs him that her mom Tess died several years ago. When Sam asks more about her and mom, he hears original Sam Bell's voice, so he hangs up from fear and shock. When he returns to base, Tough Sam lays him in bed. He will also watch phone conversation with their daughter. He is devastated but manages to collect himself and comes up with plan. Time is ticking and rescue unit is coming. Sam knows they will kill all awoken clones in base, so he asks Gertie to wake one more clone up. When old Sam comes to his senses, Tough Sam explains his plan. They will take new clone and place him in crashed rover, basically killing him. Then old Sam will go in cargo unit used for shipping helium-3 to Earth and leave the moon, while Tough Sam will stay in base like nothing happened. Old Sam refuses. They will not kill anyone because they can't. It was good plan, but Tough Sam chose wrong person to send to Earth. Old Sam decided to stay since he knows he is dying. So they gear up and go to crashed rover. When near it, they reminiscent good memories about Tess, how they met first time and how much they love her, but old Sam passes out. Tough Sam picks him up and places him in crashed rover. He comes back, packs up when Gertie says that he recorded everything going on base and advises Sam to reboot him to delete all recordings. Time is running low, but still right before departure Sam runs to comp room, changes directions of functioning mining rovers towards communication jamming substations and finally leaves the base. Rescue team arrives, new clone is still lying in infirmary just waking up, while old Sam sees how tough Sam leaves the planet. When rescue team opens hatch of crashed rover, all they see is dead old Sam, while tough Sam is screaming happily on his way to Earth. Because of tough Sam's quick thinking, mining rovers destroy jammers and base finally has live feed for clones. The helium transport arrives at Earth, and over the film's credits, news reports describe how Sam's testimony on Lunar Industries' activities has stirred up an enormous controversy, and the company's unethical practices have caused their stock to plummet.